Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Devil Made Me Read It, where we will be discussing books that probably would have gotten us burned at the stake. My name is Jacob. Thank you so much for joining me here. I am so excited to start talking about books with you. We'll go over the kind of books in a second. The theme you'll pick up on pretty quickly, I hope. But I do want to let all of you know that while we are living in such a weird time right now, there's a lot of stress going on in a lot of bunch of different directions. This is this library, the library we're going to be discussing. It is politically charged, politically minded, but it is not about politics. I want this to be a place where we can all come together, sort of relax, unplug, not stress too much about the great worries of the world that feel like are outside of our control. So come on, sit down, pick up a book, and let's talk about it. The kinds of books that this idea was born from really wanting to discuss books, wanting to start a book club, really, that I turned out I don't have the organizational skills for. But to design a space where we can talk about banned books is where the thought came to me first. But then I realized how many genres sit under that umbrella. Banned books are not only just science texts or religious documents or things like that. They are anything that, essentially challenges the norm, the status quo, the patriarchy, whatever you want to call it. If you're a High School Musical fan, I know you're singing, no, 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 look at the stuff we know. But the books we're going to be reading are going to be really centered in just freedom of expression, learning about different things. We're going to touch a bunch of different genres. I'm excited about a bunch of different genres. I always have been. So that's really, I think, you're going to get used to that, I hope. I want us to read queer stories. I gay man, if you can't fucking tell by the Mona Lisa, the Judy Garland, the Andy Warhol, we're all over the place. It's very clear. But queer stories and queer authors have always been really important to me. So we're going to dabble in those a little bit. Not just about cis gay men. I want to break into some trans experiences. I want to get into an intersectionality of queer existence. However, this is not just a queer space. I want all of you to feel like you have a voice here. I want us to discuss, we will be revolving around books that have to do with the people of color, not the people of color, but people of color, where they are the main drivers of their stories, investigating or really just reacting to how those make us feel. Again, not in a political kind of essay style way, just like we're going to be talking about it. We're going to go over horror books. I love horror, and they are classically subversive. They are intended to kind of mess with our understanding of society and really pull out the worst parts and shine a light on it in a fun way, in a way that gives us that jump scare adrenaline. We're going to talk about that a lot here. We're also going to talk about chick lit. And I know that's kind of become a grown word. For me, it is sometimes still. I want us to really be comfortable saying that, because chick lit is just women being the center of a story. And why is that looked down upon? Why is that bad? So we are going to be using the word chick lit. If you have a better term, drop it for me in the comments. I'm always happy to learn something funner. And that really brings us to our first book, which is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serle. Raise your hands if you've read it. That was my best Dora the Explorer. What do you think? One Italian Summer is a book by Rebecca Serle that I read for the first time about a year ago, and it's just really stuck with me. So I thought it would make a great first outing for us. It follows, the main character's name is Katie, and her mom's name is Carol. The two of them have a extremely close bond, and Katie, the story is told from Katie's experience. She describes her mom as her best friend, makes her ultimate confidant. And it throughout the book, we learn they're talking about sex. They're talking about all the stuff I don't want to talk about with my mom, even though I love her so much. I'm sure some of you have that relationship with your mom. Please tell me about it. I am fascinated by it. TV has always made that so interesting to me, which probably is why I was drawn to this book. Oops, bumpy camera. Um, but before the first chapter begins, Carol, Katie's mom, has died from a long-term illness. It doesn't take her by surprise, except for the way that grief always surprises us. And we're finding Katie in the beginning of a period where, or maybe like just starting in that first phase of grief, where her entire life is sort of disintegrating. The grief that she's experiencing is completely all consuming. It's disrupting her relationship with her husband. It's kind of pushing them toward a quasi separation. We don't know, question mark. Who's to say what'll happen? I certainly don't. And the kind of the catalyst for the plot of this book is that Carol and Katie, while Carol was sick, they developed this plan together, this trip to go to Positano, Italy, because Carol once spent a summer there when she was in her youth, before marriage, before baby. Unfortunately, obviously, that does not happen. And so because Katie's feeling kind of distant from everybody else in her life, from her home, and her instant community or her home community, she's kind of got to have a hot girl summer. She picks up and takes all of her airline miles and goes on this trip to Italy. That was supposed to be with her mom, but with her mom in her heart. Already an incredible kind of platform for a story, I think. I know that we all have there are different kinds of relationships that all of us have with our mom. My relationship with my mom is so multifaceted that, like, from one day to the next, from 1 minute to the next, sometimes it feels like the dynamic has shifted so dramatically. But she is ultimately somebody that I consider to be not my best friend, but just a pillar of me. She's, our moms are there. The best moms are there to pick us up when we're hurt, to kiss the boo-boo when we need to feel better, to bring us soup when we're sick, all of that good stuff, and to listen to our problems. If you have a really advanced relationship with your mom, you're also sharing the communication and you're listening to your mom's problems and struggles. And hopefully that's how these really dynamic relationships come into place. Off the bat, it seems that Katie idolized her mom. So just know that going into all of this plot that we're about to discuss, there's a lot of that I think Katie is going to struggle with as the plot moves forward. Learning about who our parents are outside of mom or dad. I think it can be really jarring when you realize that your parents are fully realized people. They've had their own experiences. There are decades of life that they've lived before we were even born. So how does that shape who they are? How does that shape who they are in our own mind? How does that challenge our idea of who mom is? And that's what the book is going to discuss a lot as well. You with me still? Cool. So we're moving on. We're in Italy now. Katie is immediately enchanted by Positano. I don't know if you've been there, but Google pictures. It's gorgeous. It's this hillside beach town, sort of. And I've never been there, so I can't speak from personal experience. But it's this beautiful, hilly, mountainous beach area on the coast of Italy. And she's totally excited to have her eat, pray, love moment. She's going to try all the food and kind of see all the sights that Carol was excited to share with her firsthand. She's going to do that on her own. And then this super weird thing happens, and Carol, remember Katie's mom, who is dead, has turned the corner. And literally turned the corner. Around the corner, Katie's walking down the street and bumps into a 30-year-old version of her mother. And this is not like a metaphor. It is not, oh my gosh, this woman looks exactly like my mom. It is her mom. Same names and everything. So it seems like somehow, and we don't really know how or why, but Katie is experiencing the same summer that Carol experienced way back when, that inspired this trip planning in the first place. And that's a weird kind of twist for just basic chick lit, I think. Rebecca Serle, I have a lot of opinions on, and I'll share them a little bit later once we get past the spoiler-free zone. But she does this a lot, and then does it a lot without a lot of explanation, which I think is really fun. So Katie and her mom are becoming fast friends and genuine friends, not the mother-daughter thing, because Carol has no idea that Katie exists or will exist. Technically, Katie hasn't been born yet. Our main character is not alive in Carol's mind. And so it is this really, like, I keep imagining being able to, like, go to 1980 and meet 25-year-old my mom. What was her hair like? That's my first question. I don't know why. What was her hair like? What did the 80s do to your hair? And I have pictures. It's a lot of perm, and I want to see it in person. My hair's not. Oh, what's her mom like? And so she's fascinated and drawn to this woman that is going to be her mother. And then her mom's just like interested in this other American that happens to be spending the summer in Italy. And they're getting along really well. They're having dinners. They're making plans to go sightseeing together. They explore these like special secluded areas where you only get to learn about once you've spent an extended amount of time in another country or another city even. I think one of the coolest aspects of this book is that it does give Katie that opportunity to learn firsthand in a way that really isn't possible who her mom was before kids. Katie's a single child. I am not. So you'll see that a lot. And it really shatters her worldview for a moment there. She is struck by the fact that this woman that is her mom, but also is not her mom, is flawed, has desires that are kind of at a crossroads with meeting who Katie knows is going to become her dad one day. In fact, there's a moment towards the end where it really seems like Carol might have intentionally run away from all of that possibility in order to kind of put her head in the sand and become her own woman first. And Katie struggles with that a ton, as I think all of us would. But at the end of it, kind of has this hopeful moment of, okay, I can be a mess right here and right now, and things will go on. Carol can be a mess right there, right in front of Katie at the age of 30, and then still go on to be the perfect supermom, best friend, confidant thing that Katie's prior memory of her mother is. So eventually what happens is Katie pushes her mom essentially on the path to become this maternal figure that she is destined to be, as we know, because both of these women exist in the same place at the same time. I'm not sure about the quantum physics behind time travel, but I'm pretty sure that one has to follow the other in order for... I'll get Dr. Strange in here to explain everything in a little bit. Eventually in the book, they get to a point of friction, and it's centered around this discomfort that Katie's been kind of feeling, this dichotomy. And the stubbornness of Carol being like, who the fuck are you? Some random stranger telling me I can't live my life in Italy the way I planned on. But eventually, they both, I think, independently have this moment of acceptance and truth about who they are and where they're kind of supposed to be. Not necessarily where they want to be. It's not always the same. We don't always get to be where we want to be, but it's still not with the tone of being caged. It's more like a gentle nudge toward home for each of us. And home can be different for each of us, right? Katie's home is a little bit different in her head than Carol's home is, particularly at that moment. And what ends up happening is they kind of go their separate ways. Obviously, Katie's nervous that she's never going to see her mom again, certainly because she's dead. That really tickled me. I'm sorry. I tickled myself. Sometimes I'm my biggest fan. And then Katie, through all of this growth and understanding, she realizes that her home is with her husband, Eric, and that it is important for her to go back home and really, really reinvest in that relationship. And essentially she gets a soft, happily ever after, I guess, if she already got the man, right? I need to stop saying we'll do a count in the comments at one point, I'm sure. The book ends with this hopeful vibe. It's great. It's lovely. It's warming. It's a cup of like chicken noodle soup. This whole book, it feels great. Not to mention the fact that it does my favorite part of the book, and I think I really am drawn to books about Italy because I'm obsessed with Italy. I love visiting it. I love its food. I love its people. I'm part of its people. Heritage wise, way up the family tree or way down the family tree. I'm not sure how that works. But Rebecca Serle, the author, does a just beautiful job of painting the picture of what it's like to be in Positano. And the year is ambiguous, which I think is cool. There are phones, but it's kind of unclear if they're smartphones. I love that kind of ambiguity because it creates kind of this other world of opportunity that I think we're so used to predicting the easy solutions with modern technology that it's nice to kind of be reminded that those might not necessarily be on the table. You can still choose to live that way without the cell phone to call your husband all the time. But it's different to know that it could be possible every second of the day and it's not, and you're choosing not to. It's magical. And it just makes reading the book and even just kind of going through my notes in preparation for this video, it made me want to like just eat fresh pasta by the ocean with an Aperol spritz. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll go do that after this. Just pour myself an Aperol spritz. It's only 4:00. It's fine. 5:00 in the next time zone, right? However, I do have to say, while Rebecca Serle is an author that I have followed for a little while, I have read a couple of her books, and I tend to have the same problem with her. And it is that while her brain is amazing, the stories she creates are amazing. You think you're expecting something based on the cover alone, the font, the illustrative background, you're kind of expecting this frou-frou rom-com, right? That's how we're kind of trained to view chick lit covers, stories, blah, blah, blah. So your brain's not ready to, there's almost a twist at the beginning that 30-year-old Carol exists in the first place because your brain's not expecting it to have any kind of science fiction magic component. And the author really never explains that, and that there is no why. Katie doesn't get to know why 30-year-old Carol is right there with her. And I love that. But my problem with Rebecca Serle, the author, is that her main characters are insufferable. I cannot stand Katie. I think she is the worst. She's that girl that just is like, oh my God, my mom's my best friend. And oh my God. And blah, blah, blah. Like, I hate her. Your best friend. At one point, at several points throughout the book, Katie is talking about her mom's death, which, not taking away the impact that has. I can't imagine. Hopefully I don't have to for a long time. I can't imagine how the grief that I will feel when one day one of my parents passes. However, at no point, if I am married already, if I have a husband, I've walked down the aisle to meet this man and to make a commitment. And I'm calling my mom my biggest confidant. My mom is my best friend. My mom is I know that I married my best friend is cliche, is annoying as hell, but at a certain point you have to be like, okay, my mom's my mom and my husband's my person. Or you would think so, I guess. The way it's hard to describe without actually just reading excerpts, and I don't want to do that for you all. But just her reverence for her mom is insufferable. Her mom makes the best homemade food ever, best dessert, best cake from scratch every time. She grows her own lemon tree. She makes lemon chiffon dessert icing, all of it from scratch. Every day she makes baked bread. I can't even remember if those are the actual details, but that's just the impression you're left with, where you're like, okay, we get it. This bitch is Superwoman. Love that for you. Love that for her. Sounds, honestly, the whole time I was picturing Carol, mom version of Carol, as a cross between Blythe Danner's character in Will and Grace, if you haven't seen it, do it, and Meryl Streep's character in It's Complicated. I'm just picturing this woman standing behind this massive, king size bed sized um, kitchen island and just cooking all day from scratch, making pasta from scratch, making bread from scratch, probably like distilling her own grapes to make her own grappa, her own wine. Who knows? Probably like sews all of her own garments because she's so effortlessly trendy in all of these wispy robes and scarves and stuff. Maybe there's a little Stevie Nicks in there for me too. You're getting a lot of my personal pop culture, what, safety rail training wheels. But to me, Katie's the worst because she has this amazing mom. That's clear. That's undeniable. She has this amazing mom, but it's her view of her isn't authentic. So to me, I think almost the saddest part about the way that Katie keeps describing this woman is that Katie doesn't actually know who she is. Her entire adult life that she got to actually spend with Carol, the mother, decades older than her at this point. I don't think Katie really ever took the opportunity to get to know who she was. And for me, that just reads as obnoxious as hell in the explanation of her friendship with her mom or her reference for her mom. We'll keep saying. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way? I get really stuck with now with bad characters. I do want to say though, just repeating, Rebecca Serle, great author, great writing style, structures a story really beautifully, brings the set to life. Again, I cannot tell you how it felt. Just like read my cozy book and picture myself on the beach in Italy. It just brings you there. But her main characters, man, this main character, we'll talk about another one later. But this main character in another video, is just, I don't want to be friends with her. I don't want to be friends with her. I don't want to get a drink with her. I'd be maybe okay, like sitting at an office cubicle next to her, but I would be really excited when she went on vacation. You know what I mean? Well, so with all of that said, my Goodreads, I looked it up. My Goodreads rating of this book is 3 stars. I hate the 5-star rating feature component structure on Goodreads. So I think we're gonna start on a 1 through 10, and I'm gonna give this a really strong 6. Great storytelling. Maybe a 6.5. Great storytelling, immersive as hell. You want to keep reading. You want the next page to happen. You are almost bummed when it's over. But I cannot get. I hated Katie every page. Every page, I had something negative to think about her. Every page, I was just like, I hope you spilled ketchup on your white shirt today. Just that. I don't need her to die. I don't need her to, walk off a cliff or something. But I do need her to just be inconvenienced because you just are obnoxious. What did you guys think? If you've read it, let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, yeah, if you like Katie, tell me. Tell me. I want to know. With this soft 7, let's say, review, well, should we give it Devil's Horns? Maybe it's Devil's Horns. You know how magazines do different symbols? I'll give this one 7 Devil's Horns. Sets of. It'll probably just end up being a devil emoji. It's fine. We're workshopping it. It's going to be great. But yeah, I gave One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serle 6.75 Devil's Horns. See, I've already created the problem. This is the Goodreads issue, is that you end up having to give a decimal point. Okay. I'm sticking strongly to my 6. This is a solid 6. 6 Devil Horns. Yeah, that worked for you guys? It works for me. It's 6 because it's, my favorite book in the world is probably going to be my number 10, Devil Horns. And like anything that's not exceptionally perfect, but is still going to be a wonderful story, I'm going to call an 8. So 6 feels right. Great story, fun story. And, the main character is just a little bit annoying. That was a lot. I can't believe we hit this mark. We're here already. It's over. You're free to go. You were free to go a long time ago if you wanted to, but it's really as simple as exiting out of the window. But I'm really glad that you stuck with me. Let me know what you think we should start reading next. Give me genre ideas. Give me book specific title ideas if you want. I'm eager to always read something new. I'm always reading something. Right now, I've got 2 books in my bag constantly. So stick around, like, subscribe, tell me what you think. Always down to take some constructive criticism if you got it for me. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.